we can now have funerals held for our Sims in The Sims 4, and I'm coming in with a custom-built funeral home for your Sims. Now, I've already built a church for my wedding stories, and I knew for this specific build, I didn't want to build another church. I was actually inspired by a local funeral home here where I live, and the last time I was in there was when my father passed away a little bit over a year ago. So I was very not going to get life or death, because actually the whole storyline when they showed it was a trigger for me. Me and my two brothers, and in the storyline they had 3 siblings, and the father passed away and my father passed away. So I've only looked at life or death maybe a couple times because I honestly just couldn't do it. But I decided, I was like, you know what, I want to get life or death. I want to see what it is, and it's also part of my healing process to be able to be okay with my father's passing, but at the same time heal and still be creative, and I know he would still love that for me for doing something that I love. So, like I said, this was inspired by a local funeral home that I have, and I didn't want to do a church because I already did a church for the wedding. And not everyone wants to have a funeral service in a church. I didn't make this a graveyard because I want to do something different with a specific graveyard, and the size of the building that I wanted to do, I wasn't going to try and smash all of that in there. So this is just a generic lot that I set up with the funeral stuff from Life and Death, and it does run, as I had a little playthrough there of the land grabs that had a mournful funeral for their father, and so I did want to make sure that it still showed up when you wanted to do a funeral, because I've been having some issues with certain lots not showing up for certain events, which is kind of a bummer, but I always thought generic lots would show up for everything. They do not. So I've had some of my last few builds be lounges, so I wanted them to show up for certain things. Not all of my generic lots show up for everything, so I thought that was really weird. It could be a glitch, or it could be something with one of the mods that are in my game. I'm not shocked at all. But the point of this funeral home is I kind of had the idea of knowing how that funeral home is set up where I live, where there is an office where you to meet, and they do have a room for picking out caskets, but I kept it very, more so small, because my vision also thought of the recession when they line up, where they would bring the casket out, and then everyone would follow through. So I kind of had all of that in mind, of there would be cars lining up and driving out. And this is the first slot I actually put a parking lot, but I didn't actually put any cars. And I really honestly probably would have put a hearse down. And I didn't really look into life or death debugs. Did we get a hearse for life or death? Because I feel like that would be perfect. If we did, please comment down below. I have not looked at any thing in debug. When I tell you I have looked at nothing in life or death because it's just so triggering, I bought it and then just started building. So I was just kind of looking through things as I built and just trying to see what works, mix things up a bit. I didn't want the building to look so glum, and honestly the real building is just a white and gray building, so it is, I guess, boring in a way. But this is probably the first just like rectangle square building I've ever done, but it does give some detailing with the roofing and with this little cutout back here. And then I don't know, I was gonna put like I don't know what I was gonna put back here, but I was like, I could take up this space, but I was like, let's just fill it with greenery. When in doubt, that always solves any open land spots, in my opinion. When in doubt, just put plants there and call it a day. But yeah, as I was actually getting inside, I was kind of worried because, like I said, I don't like open like squares and rectangles, and just seeing all of this space, I'm not gonna lie, I started to panic. I was like, this is awful. This is too much space. I was like, no, this is too open. I can't do anything with this. But I just took a breather and I said, no, we're gonna make this work. We're gonna have a nice little hallway here, and I end up putting the memorial table there, and I don't know if it's me or again my game because it has a mind of its own, but if you have the blank memorial table, when you go to set it, nothing physically showed up during the funeral. So I went and put the one that already has the picture, and so then when you go in to have that funeral there, you just add your Sim's picture and then it shows up. I don't know, when I tell you my game has been glitching, I know people are going to say, check your mods. I know. All of my big mods are up to date, but I think I have some smaller ones that are giving me issues. So I really just need to go through and start pinpointing what they are. I have a feeling some of them are my poses, because anytime you see a little llama, like, those really, really get you. That's the thing. So there's that. And I know I have a couple CC items when I see my Sims around, and I'm like, yeah, that didn't used to look like that, so we probably need to fix it. So as we're going through, I wanted to put like a little office. I know that you can have the new Reaper job, but my thought isn't the Reaper's gonna work here. It's gonna be whatever they're called when you run funerals homes. Those people. And so they have an office to meet you there. I did end up putting no ghosts allowed because I was kind of curious with that sign. And when we got here, when Geoffrey was deceased, he did show up to the funeral, but then he didn't go past the parking lot. So I was like, oh, it does work. So I don't know if I'm going to keep the sign for no ghosts allowed, because ghosts have been driving me insane in this pack. And I don't know about you guys. Those of you that have Life or Death, have you noticed that it is like unaliving all of your NPCs? What's her name? Judith Meredith. I feel like that's not her name. Judith, you know, the famous one. She passed away. My Bella Goth passed away at a young age. She was a young adult, so I'm not too happy with Mortimer, because he's already remarried to someone very young. Suspicious. They unalived the college student that comes with the university pack. Like, all of my NPCs were like good the day before I got Life or Death, and now I have so many ghosts in my game. It's a little ridiculous. To the point that they are scaring my Sims constantly. Now, before I had ghosts here and there, and my Sims could handle it, but anytime a ghost is around, they like pee themselves because they're scared. And I'm like, why? Like, so many ghosts. So I don't know about that, but I may be sending them off to be buried and forever. I'm not huge on ghost play. I don't find it very interesting. It's almost like werewolves. When a ghost is around, if your Sim is scared of them, they will not function right. And the same thing with werewolves. If they're around, your Sims will not function right. I don't see the joy in doing stuff with ghosts, but it's whatever. I go ahead and put a bathroom up. One is more so like a family bathroom. The other one is a single bathroom. I don't know why, but I made my bathrooms look a little like run down of death. Like the rest of the funeral home is like pretty pristine and nice, but for some reason they just didn't take care of the bathrooms, so the walls are a little murky. I don't know why, but I found that funny. And bathrooms are just bathrooms. They're very easy, very simple, and I used to try and make them all cozy. I'm like, it's a bathroom. We know why we're in here. It's especially public bathrooms, so they look a little murky. It's fine. But as a whole, I feel like this funeral home actually came together when I started making the area where the funeral is at. When I put up the little podium up there, I was like, you know what, this is looking very churchy. When I put the chairs up there, and I was like, you know what, meh, it's okay. Maybe you can have the loved ones sit up there, the wife, the husbands, you know, the partners. Maybe they'll sit up there. I don't know. Or it's just there for the decor. I thought about taking the chairs down and just putting up a bunch of flowers. But I don't know. I end up leaving the chairs for my save, but who knows if you want to do that as well. But in the end, I didn't want it to look super, super churchy, but I didn't want it to look very plain either. So I tried to just tie it all together and make it as somber and soft as possible. And I don't know, I think it worked out really well. So if you would like this build, make sure you have the DLCs that I've used. And of course, I'm really bad with just using all the DLCs. Majority of it is Life or Death, but you know, things may need to be replaced. My gallery name is Lunagalaxy. It's also can always be found down below in the description. So if you check it out, please let me know how you're using it and how you like this location and everything. So let me know how you like Life or Death as well. Don't forget to thumbs up, subscribe, hit that little bell so you don't miss any of the next videos. And we're going to be coming up on some of the screenshots. So I hope you enjoyed this, and hopefully we can chat and talk next time. Have a good rest of your day or night wherever you are. This is Lunagalaxy out.